Welcome, Nat.
Thank you.
Yes. So you're nervous about doing this?
Just a tad. Just a tad.
So Nat, obviously you and I have been working for a long time. We've been working together for a long time from when DORE Property Management got started. So Nat, obviously you play the role of business dev and you take care of all new owner onboarding. So you've pretty much played the role of everything we do at DORE. So so you'd be the right person to talk to about what we do and so on. So I'll just go through a series of questions and just get you to elaborate for people watching to what we do.
Sounds good.
Good stuff. Okay. So give me a bit of background on us, on DORE Property Management, just for people who don't know us.
Sure. Well, we, DORE, I say we, I am part of this company. DORE Property Management has been in business for the past 20 some years. I myself have been with DORE for, 18 years.
You started when you were 5.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, but I mean, time flies when you're having fun.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So 18 years. I've been doing, as you mentioned, everything throughout the company. But at the moment, I'm at the forefront of the company, explaining services to our potential new landlords and our services.
Fair enough. And as part of this, typically when we get new clients coming in, the first steps involve leasing the units, renting the units. So can you elaborate a bit on our leasing team and so on?
Yeah, we have a great leasing team at DORE. Rose is the lease manager. She's been with us for over 10 years. She has a great team as well. And so what they do is they will do all of the advertising, and advertising is extensive. They will also do the screening. They will do the showings, also the lease drafting. So everything from A to Z in terms of the leasing aspect.
Fair enough. And they're pretty good at it, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. So in terms of clientele, like who does our service cater to the most? Like who do we serve? Like who do we serve, and who benefits the most from the services that we offer?
Yeah. I have small investors calling me for our services. They can own 1 to 20 units in the Ottawa area. We also cater to work transfers. So you're going on a posting overseas or in Montreal, Toronto. We cater to these clients.
Right. And I mean, obviously, too, we're expanding into larger multi-res with new developments and so on. So we'll have a much further reach in what we do. And there's also part of our division is actually going to be looking after commercial property management as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the future brings us.
Yeah.
And so which areas of, like, how far do we extend out the services to?
We manage properties all the way from Canada, Barrhaven, Hunt Club, downtown core to the East End, Rockland, Embrun, Limoges. So that is a vast area.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And and it's obviously, as the properties are closer to each other, then needless to say, we're not hiding behind the fact that it's easier for us to service. Our resources are not spread too thin, so it's good for us to keep a close, tight niche on where the services are, the areas that we serve, and so it helps everybody out. So where do we advertise now? Like, if we're looking for tenants, what are the source of advertising? I mean, obviously, I think for the vast part, the being in business for 20 some odd years, we get most of them are referrals or word of mouth when it comes to tenants and people looking and signs.
Yep.
But apart from that, third party, like where do we put our ads out?
Advertising, as I mentioned, is extensive. We advertise on over 10 different websites. We advertise directly to relocation companies. We get great leads from relocation companies. We also advertise to embassies. We advertise on our social media platforms. So as I mentioned, advertising is extensive.
Yeah, no, and it works. And in terms of drafting leases, obviously in the province of Ontario, there are standardized leases that we need to use. We have our own templates that we set up in order to cater to each type of different dwelling or situation. But like, who handles the drafting? How does that work? from a client's perspective? Like how,
We do that in-house. We draft the lease for both parties, and we use the standard Ontario lease, as you mentioned, but we also have an addendum that we add to it because of our experience, our 20-some years experience. We have an addendum that we add on to the lease with those special clauses that are not in your standard Ontario lease, like replacing the furnace filters every 3 months or acquiring tenant insurance. That is a must for us.
mm-hmm.
So those are in our addendum, and that addendum is attached to that lease.
Yeah, so that's great.
And we do it, it's convenient. I mean, we do everything online,
Mm-hmm.
so signatures are online,
Yeah,
efficient
electronic
for everyone.
signatures.
Yeah.
It's all electronic copies. So we, we take advantage of the technology that exists in order
Absolutely.
to be able to do so. So,
Mm-hmm.
so in terms of contractors, do we sub out or do we
Great
have our own?
question. Great question. I get asked this question all the time. In-house contractors. We have the in-house contractors. We have 3 contractors that work for DORE. These in-house contractors, they're not licensed trades, but I call them jacks of all trades. They can pretty much do any odd job around the house. And so they work for DORE. We will dispatch them once a service call is warranted. We don't just dispatch contractors for the fun of it.
Right.
We warrant those service calls. We will troubleshoot over the phone. Once that service call is warranted, we'll dispatch our contractor. So we have those 3 in-house contractors. We also have access to licensed trades, and in hiring DORE, you have access to those resources.
Right.
Those licensed trades, yes, they are more expensive, but they are vetted. We've been working with them for many years. We know their work, their repairs, their social skills with the tenants. So important.
Yeah, no, exactly. And trusting the speed of trust, right? So we've used them for years, so we know, who to
Exactly.
trust. It's a lot easier to get things done,
Mm-hmm.
and that's great. And what hours of operations? Obviously, in property management, I don't think we ever shut anything down, but
We don't. We
yeah,
don't. We are open.
yeah,
I'm proud to say this. We are open 24/7.
mm-hmm,
Not every company out there is open
mm-hmm,
24/7. We are.
mm-hmm,
We have my colleagues in service will answer the phones from, I want to say, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And after that, we have an on-call service that
mm-hmm.
we've been utilizing forever.
Yeah,
So they know how we work. They have our resources on speed dial.
yeah,
So yeah, we are open 24/7.
yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, because obviously, if there's always the odd emergency, obviously emergency being leaks, fires,
Yeah.
heat related. In the middle of winter, if the heat's not working, then obviously those are more concerning. But
What's great is that the tenants can always reach someone.
that's right.
They may think it's an emergency. For us, after troubleshooting, it may not be an emergency. It may wait until the next morning.
Yeah,
But for them, the tenants being able to reach someone on the other line is
yeah. And it's
great.
customer service as well, right? So just making sure
Absolutely.
sometimes it's a matter of being able to, have voice their concern, and if they're having issues, great. If it's not urgent, we deal with it the next day. But if it is,
Exactly.
then dispatch whoever is necessary to
Mhm.
be able to do so.
Mhm.
So that's great. We also have an in-house legal department. So obviously, dealing with the landlord-tenant issues requires some massaging
Yes.
and working within the realm of the Residential Tenancies Act. So tell us a bit about how we're set up.
We have to. We have to have a legal department for those, instances, those issues. Legal department is great. We actually all professional advice is included in our management fee, but we do have also access to a paralegal at the Landlord and Tenant Board. So she's great to have as a resource. And so again, in hiring DORE, you have access to that resource, and so she will be the one mediating at the Landlord and Tenant Board on your behalf.
Yeah,
It's
no,
great
that's
to
great.
have.
No, we've used it for a long time, so
Yeah.
we're quite happy to make use of her services if and when we need them. So
You got it.
So in terms of what's included in our management fees? Like what do we do in terms of the fees that we would charge?
Everything day to day is included.
I know it's extensive, but just for the purposes of a quick conversation.
Generally, I mean, everything day to day is included. taking the calls, communication in between tenants, ourselves, owners, being open 24/7. That is all included in our management fee. Any forms that need to be filled out, collecting the rent, depositing the rent into our owners' accounts, all of that is included. Acquiring a mini statement every month prior to their deposit, that is included. So everything day to day is included.
Yep. And what about like how do we handle move-ins? Is there an inspection that takes place? Like
Great question.
What does that look like?
Yeah, the move-in process and the move-out process, so important, and they are included in the management fee. I say it like that because when we dispatch a contractor to the property, there is an extra cost. But that move-in and move-out process are part of our management fees. So we do send out a contractor. Our service department does attend the property for an inspection, but that inspection is included in our management fee.
And what is the move-in inspection? What is it? Because we do a video film through of the property. So just and the purpose of that is what?
So the move-in process, again, is extensive because of our experience, right? We've learned over the years, we've managed to, I want to say perfect the process.
Yeah.
So what we do is our service contractor will be at the property. They will do a detailed video of the property. That is important. I mean, we're 3 parties involved. So at least we have the property on video, the condition of the property on video.
Yep.
We will also tag all your mechanical systems. So important. We could be renting to a professional couple that's never rented a single family home or a townhome. They don't know about replacing the furnace filters every 3 months. They don't know about the water main. I mean, if there is a flood in the house, we want them to, yes, call DORE, but we want them to turn off the water main as well.
Right.
So
and by tagging it, they know where it is.
They know exactly where it is, what it is. Same with the exterior faucets. So we tag the exterior faucets. They must be winterized in the fall with instructions. So we're very detailed that way. We also have a nice welcome bag for the tenants. That's I mean, we've done this for the past, I want to say 5-6 years, and we haven't stopped because we've gotten great comments on it. It's great to have, I mean, we work for the owner, but we also work for the tenant, and we want the tenant to have a great experience. So we want the tenant to start their tenancy on the right foot. So we have a nice welcome bag, comes with different items. Sometimes we switch it up. Sometimes we have a wine bottle. We have cleaning supplies, felt pads for underneath their furniture. It's great.
No, I don't know. And I mean, obviously, I think the mentality for us is, we truly believe that, if you're renting with us, you're renting from people who care. We're really trying to make sure that the tenant has a good experience. And as funny as it sounds, we're hired by the landlord, but in retrospect, I mean, the funds are coming from the tenant. So if the tenant has a good experience, then generally it's good for the landlord as well. Right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, 2 little things too that we added to the move-in that we didn't mention is a lot of times where we had noticed that in the past where if a furnace wasn't working, somebody had been shutting off the main shut-off switch. So we actually have a sticker we put on that switch to make sure that they never do that. And the other one that we tried to nip at the bud as well was the lint filters in the dryers, where, if they use the dryer, it's supposed to clean out the lint filter. So we actually have stickers we put on the dryers to make sure that, they're reminded. So we're trying to facilitate understanding you can't, be within perfection of what we're doing as much as we like to. We're dealing with people, but we're really trying to facilitate that process in order to make sure that it's as pleasant for everybody. Because obviously, if a tenant is well looked after, it's great. But for the landlord, if they know that their tenant is well looked after, then typically they take care of the property a lot better, and the experience is better. Everybody enjoys that experience even more. So it's a win-win, and typically you tend to have less wear and tear on the houses, and people get to take care, be more respectful of the rental properties, which in turn is, is very important.
Well, that's it. And we want to try and minimize issues.
That's right. And in the move out, when we go through the move out process, understanding the legislation, the province of Ontario has a very wide raft of what is considered normal wear and tear. I think one of the things also maybe you want to speak to how, what the expectation should be from somebody renting out a property and what is expected of a landlord once their tenant leaves and having it re-rented. So
yeah, in between tenancies, I mean, we all have different expectations of what
mm-hmm.
clean is.
Right.
Your expectation is different, mine is, a
Mm-hmm.
landlord's is different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always important that we want to start off the next tenancy on the right foot as well. So
Mm-hmm.
there may certainly be, and the landlord needs to expect this, in between tenancies, there may be a professional cleaning required,
Mm-hmm.
or some touch-up paint required. Any little repairs that need to be, that our contractor noticed on inspection that needs to be addressed, we will have to address in between tenancies. So the
Yep.
owners have to expect,
and that is at the owner's cost, right?
Absolutely.
So obviously, no more wear and tear is
Absolutely.
an owner needs to to expect to have to pay for some cleanliness and some sprucing
Exactly.
up for
Yep.
to bring back the property up to par.
Yep.
So that's good. Obviously, Nat, you and I can go on and on and on with different specific scenarios, but a couple of things we want to highlight as well is the fact that if somebody hires us to rent and manage a property, are there any upfront fees?
There is an upfront fee. No, sorry.
Yeah, there's no upfront fees.
There's no upfront
Obviously, when you that's a trick question. You're supposed to know this one. So there's no upfront fees
gosh.
when you
Wow.
hire us to manage,
Yeah, bloopers.
and obviously we get compensated on results. So when it comes to hiring, we're on the journey with you as well, trying to get results, right? So we get paid on results.
Yeah, there are no upfront fees.
Right. Good answer. Sounds good. Anything else that you think we should highlight that perhaps we didn't change?
Not that I can
So obviously,
think of at the moment, but I'm sure we'll have more conversations.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And obviously, if people want to get more information or a more detailed, offering, then obviously they're to contact us and through the DORERentals.com website.
Correct. They can even book online through my calendar.
That's right.
So convenient for them.
Right. So you can choose your time, date, and so on, and have either a virtual call, or even an on-site visit, which is sometimes it makes a lot more sense. So
yeah, we'd love to hear from them.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you for doing this. I know this was extremely comfortable for you to do, but
thanks, Dan.
We did it. Perfect. Thanks.